What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's good, people? What is up? What is up? They went from the 4th level of hell and sent us down to the 7th level of hell. Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. Mike.
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's Meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really let Hello Casting Wardrobe? Y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not gonna see it. We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, "Baby, you ate on this first date. You giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Or you gonna run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins." That's our new theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Ooh, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was gonna, I thought Lil Roberta was gonna turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Murder was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Girl. Uncle Clifford, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. Well, he had it on look like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yala Van Zap's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup, clumped here everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. And you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. And Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see it. Hit me up in my DMs. I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue, Joshua or something like that. I'd love to see it. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy.
Oh, well, hello. How the hell are you? How is everyone doing? Forgive me, I was not ready. I was trying to post to the socials that I was live and was caught off guard. Listen, y'all, it's another jam-packed dossier. Do you hear me? Listen, remember the other day I was complaining that I didn't know how I was going to get through the dossier? I really have no clue how I'm going to get through this today. If I can get through all of this before Really B goes live, that means we just good at what we do. Because I just don't see how we get through all of this that I have going on in today's dossier. I just don't know, y'all. I just don't know. But we're going to do the best we can. We're going to do the best we can to get through it. Let me say hello to y'all and see how y'all are doing. Okay. Let's see who we got up in here today. Let's see who's first. Oh, look at this. Universal Goddess is in the building. I didn't even know Really B was live. I ain't getting no notification from Really B either. She live? I ain't getting no notification. If Really B is live, Baby, YouTube ain't shit. Cause they ain't give me not one notification. Not one. No. Mm-mm. Ain't gave me nothing. Anyway, hey, Universal Goddess, you are first today, my love. DPG is next. Hey, boo. Tamara is here. Crazy homebody girl is here. Candace F accounted for. China White is here. Drinks with D is in the building. Yana done checked in. Everybody checking in. Hey, everybody. You cooking dinner, but what you cooking over there? Aquarius, the only real sign. What is you cooking over there? How you doing today? Oh, we gonna talk about it. Aquarius, the real. Listen, I got already in the dossier. Already in the dossier. Aquarius, the only real sign. You know, I got you, girl. I got you. Tracy W. Hey, boo. How you doing? I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I didn't know she was live before Universal Goddess. I know her normal time is right after me, so I didn't know if she was. Listen, you done told me something. Harold, Harold, Harold. Hey, 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 Harold. Complex 613. You still didn't send me a message on Instagram. I told you got to send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email. I don't even got my banner up. But one of the two, send me a DM on Instagram, send me an email, something so I can send you the link for the members only chat. Grr. Gee. Just missing out. Oh, her review channel is live. Okay. Hey, L Love, my love. How are you up there in the great state of Wisconsin? So Jeff, you all right today? No, you ain't got no reason. You know, I don't have no Beyonce stories today, so I don't. We only see you when it's Beyonce related news. I'm glad to have you today. We do have some New York news today, New York City news today. So stay put, stay in place. Mm. Hey, Precious Jewel Boo. Precious Jewel say she done became a faithful pupil. Ever since we saw her that first time, she said, I am gonna have my face in the place all the time. And we so glad that you came over here and found us and became such a faithful pupil around these parts. Ronald is in the building. He done rolled from on top of somebody's son long enough to be up in here with us. I'm just saying. You should saute some shrimp real quick before you take a walk. Child, that sound good. Lord, now I want me some scrimps, not shrimp, but scrimps. Hey, Demetria. Hey, boo. All right, y'all. We ain't even got time to waste time. It's already 5:01. We want to go ahead and get this party started. So let me go ahead and do this. All right. So we start today, ladies and gentlemen, with some unfortunate news. Our famed singer, writer, recording artist, pianist, Roberta Flack has died. I think she was 88. Yes, she was 88. Um, she's died at the age of 88. A very long-lived life. Most people know her for Killing Me Softly. Killing Me Softly with his song. And the Fugees remade it with Lauryn Hill. My favorite song by her is The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Now that is my song by Roberta Flack. That right there. When she sings The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, listen. Very beautiful alto voice. Beautiful alto voice. So we commemorate her well-lived life and legacy. That is That's Roberta Flack. My other song by her was her and People Bryson. Tonight I celebrate my love for you. That was my other jam. Those two songs. The first time ever I saw your face, and um tonight I celebrate my love for you. Now Roberta Flack really blew up when she had that album with Donny Hathaway back in the day. That before I was born. That's like back in the 70s. But that album she did with Donny Hathaway really blew her up, and we've been celebrating her hits ever since. So shout out to Roberta Flack and her storied career in music. She has a long, rich career. She will be missed. And that's the great Roberta Flack. Hey, Brittany, Janae. Hey, Montrez, what's good, bruh? Now, what's y'all favorite Roberta Flack song? Just When I Needed You from the Bustin' Loose soundtrack is your song. That is a good song too. That is a good song too. Yeah, Green Girl. Her and Donny Hathaway's album. If you have not listened to, even if you're not familiar with the Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack album, go back and listen. Those are some of the two greatest voices ever. I really don't think Donny Hathaway gets enough credit for his voice and what he could do with his voice. He was a great singer, and that coupled with Roberta Flack, awesome. So shout out to Roberta Flack. May she live on with the ancestors on the ancestral plane. It's now time for us to do our Black History moment. I actually have 4 of them today. We do need a Donny Hathaway movie. We absolutely, Lamone, need a Donny Hathaway movie. And how are you today, Lamone? Good to see you. Good to see you. Lamone, I still miss your old avatar with you flexing like this. You need to go back to the old flex avatar, Lamone. We be looking for the flex. Shout out to Lamone, another great singer and artist in his own right. Shout out to Lamone, who's a phenomenal singer and vocalist. So before we get into our sugar spike moments today, I thought that we should do in our Black History moments some little known Black History facts in politics. So I have 4 people in from politics that you may or may not have known about. All right, so let's get it started. Now, the first 2 you see on the screen, one you see on the left, that is Matthias de Souza. The other, there's no actual image of him, but we'll learn about him. I have the state of New Hampshire up there for him. And that's Wentworth Cheswell. Now, Matthias D'Souza will do first. Matthias de Souza, an indentured servant, was the only Black person to serve in the colonial Maryland legislature. As such, he is the first African American to sit in any legislative body in what would become the United States. As one of 9 indentured servants working for Father Andrew White, a Catholic priest, Matthias de Souza arrived in St. Mary's City, St. Clements Island, Maryland in 1634 on the ship the Ark, along with White and other European settlers. De Souza was probably of mixed African and European descent, judging by land records that record him being called a mulatto by a priest in the colony. For the first few years he lived in Maryland, he worked for Jesuit priests, although the exact details of his activities are unknown. Generally, such servants built and maintained churches and houses for the Jesuits. In 1638, having worked for the required 4 years as an indentured servant, De Souza became a free man. He earned money by continuing to work for the priests. He also traded goods with Native Americans for animal furs and food. In 1641, he commanded a small boat on a 2-month voyage to trade with the Susquehannock tribe. In 1642, he sailed as master of a ketch belonging to the provincial secretary, John Lugar. And that's where the story both gets interesting and takes a turn. Now he departed and returned to the capital of the colony, St. Mary's City, on and off again many times in 41 and 42. He began to vote shortly after he became a free man and was elected to the Maryland General Assembly, serving from 1641 until 1642. Why did he stop serving? Here's where it goes south. Soon after being elected and serving on the Maryland General Assembly, the Susquehannock tribe attacked English settlers. Matthias de Souza then somehow became indebted to John Lugar, the same John Lugar who he was captain and master of a ship for. He became indebted to John Lugar and to a planter, John Hollis, as he was unable to trade for furs. And there's a long story behind that. We don't have a lot of time today to go into that, but they basically was trying to get that black man out of there. The last trace of Matthias de Souza in the records of the colony is an order of the court in 1642 requiring him to re-enter indentured servitude. He was ordered to serve John Lugar for a limited period of time to pay off a debt. No records remain of de Souza's activities after 1642, but we do know that the Native American tribe, the Susquehannock Native Americans, they killed many of those Maryland colonists in battles during 1643, and other colonists also became sick and died because of disease and lack of food. So that's the story of Matthias de Souza, who is the first ever black person to hold any office in any legislative branch in the country. That's Matthias de Souza. I'm not sure if you knew his story, but there you have it. Hey, everybody coming in. Hey, everybody. I did not see y'all coming in. I was reading our Black History moment, one of our Black History moments. Hey, Catherine Powell and Cherise and Catherine Latrice, the queen. Sabra Hardy, how are you? Cajun, how are you? I ain't see y'all come in. I'm over here going through our Black History moment. Hey, Janae. Hey, Really B. Hey, Miss Bay Thing. Hey, Paul. Now, Ravine, I noticed you ain't snitching on Really B like you be snitching on me. I see you. And because you late to class, we already covered your soror. Yo, Sarah. We already covered your soror because you late to class today. Hey, The Informed. What's going on, bruh? Hey, Lovely 31 Blueprint. I said, hey, Cajun. What else do you want from me? Hey, The Tea Lounge. All right, let's get started. All right. Our second Black History moment. So that was Matthias de Souza. Hey, Tawana D. Many people don't know Matthias de Souza. They may know the story of Hiram Revels. You hear a lot about Hiram Revels. But I even had never heard the story of Matthias de Souza. So that's his story, the first ever black person to hold any elected office in any legislative body in what on this continent. Now, hey Jeannie, what's going on, sweetheart? We don't even do those no more. Listen, Tracy, remember we used to do air blow jobs back in the day? That's going back. That's how you know Tracy old school. If you're not old school like Tracy, you don't even know about the air blow jobs on this channel. We used to have a wild time back in the day. Hey, Marla Morris, what's going on? Child, all right, our second Black History moment of the day is Wentworth Cheswell. Wentworth Cheswell was a teacher, auditor, assessor, selectman, and justice of the peace in New Hampshire. When he was elected town constable of Newmarket, New Hampshire in 1768, he became the second person of African ancestry after Matthias de Sousa of the Maryland colony to be elected to public office in what would become the United States. Cheswell, born on April 11, 1745, in Newmarket, New Hampshire, was listed in the census as white, but was considered mulatto because his father, Hope Steele Cheswell, was a biracial freeborn black man and his mother, Catherine, was Caucasian. The Cheswell family name and all descendants are linked to Richard Cheswell, a former enslaved person. Wentworth Cheswell was sent to Byfield, Massachusetts to attend Dummer Academy, where he was educated in reading, writing, arithmetic, Greek, Latin, horsemanship, and swimming. Cheswell returned home after completing his education to become a schoolmaster. He purchased his first piece of land from his father in 1765, and on September 13th, 1767, he married Mary Davis. The couple had 13 children. 13 children. 13 of them. In 1768, he was elected as the town constable of Newmarket and was elected every year, excluding 1788, until his death in 1817 as a public official. He served as auditor, assessor, and town selectman, among other positions. Because his tenure in these offices lasted after the founding of this country, he then became the first African American to hold elected office in any legislative body in the actual United States of America, whereas Matthias de Sousa was during the time period of the 13 colonies. During the American Revolution, he was elected town messenger of the Committee of Safety, a post that gave him safe passage through battle lines to carry news to and from the provincial committee at Exeter. On December 13th, 1774, Cheswell rode with Paul Revere to warn Portsmouth citizens of the approach of two British warships. Along with other local men, Cheswell signed a document in April 1776 in which he pledged to take up arms and resist the British. He later helped build rafts which defended Portsmouth's harbor. Cheswell then enlisted in the Continental Army on September 29, 1777, in a company of light horse volunteers commanded by Colonel John Langdon, but his service ended 1 month later on October 31st, 1777. He returned to Newmarket, New Hampshire after the Revolutionary War had ended and became a school teacher at the local schoolhouse. He also managed a store next to the school building. He is credited as being the area's first archaeologist because of his field work, findings, and reports about the area, which were highlighted in the 3-volume History of New Hampshire by Jeremy Belknap. He also co-founded the town's first library, the Newmarket Social Library, in 1801. 4 years later, in 1805, he was elected Justice of the Peace, a position he held until his death. On March 8, 1817, Wentworth Cheswell died at his home in Newmarket, New Hampshire, from typhus fever at the age of 70. And that's the story of the first Black elected official in the United States. All right. Let's we have 2 more and then we'll get to today's news. These 2, I'm sure, really be you still in the chat? Chat. I don't know if really be is still in the chat. But I suspect these next two really is probably very familiar with as she teaches history. Now, first one you'll see on your left, that is John Willis Menard. John Willis Menard was an abolitionist, author, journalist, and politician. He was born in 1838 in Kaskaskia, Illinois, Jesus, to French Creole parents. He was the first African American elected to Congress. He was the first African American elected to Congress, but was not seated after a dispute over the election results. John Willis Menard attended Iberia College, an abolitionist school in Iberia, Ohio. 22-year-old Menard expressed his abolitionist views in his widely read 1860 publication, An Address to the Free Colored People of Illinois. During the Civil War, he became the first African American to serve as a clerk in the U.S. Department of the Interior in Washington, D.C. While there, President Abraham Lincoln dispatched him to research British Honduras, now Belize, as a possible colony for the African American population. Y'all see how they was trying to ship us away, right? After we built this fucker, right? At the beginning of Reconstruction, John Willis Menard moved to New Orleans, Louisiana, where he served as inspector of customs in the city and later as a commissioner of streets. He also published a publication titled The Radical Standard, which was a civil rights advocacy newspaper. In 1868, during a special election in Louisiana to fill an unexpired term of a deceased congressman, John Willis Menard became the first African American elected to Congress. When his opponent contested the outcome, Menard appealed his case on the floor of the House of Representatives, the first African American to address the House of Representatives while in session. The Committee of Elections ruled in favor of his opponent, who was a white man. Although Menard was financially compensated, receiving the same salary that he would have earned as a legislator. In 1871, he relocated to Jacksonville, Florida. He was appointed to fill a vacant seat in the Florida House of Representatives in 1873, but lost the subsequent election. In 1879, he published Lays in Summer Lands, a popular collection of civil rights poems. He also founded the Key West News and the Florida News, later named Southern Leader, which were both publications. He founded them with his son-in-law, Thomas V. Gibbs. Together, they advocated a nonviolent approach to African American rights and challenged the emerging pattern of racial segregation in Florida and the South. In 1889, he relocated with his wife and 3 children to Washington, D.C., where he served as a clerk in the census office and founded the National American magazine. Still politically active, he asked President Harrison to allocate some land for blacks in the West so they could move out of the South. He died in 1893 at the age of 54. And that is the story of John Willis Menard. The last one we'll do that's this gentleman you see on the right. The last one we'll do is the gentleman you see on the right. That is Joseph Hayne Rainey. In 1870, Republican Joseph Hayne Rainey became the first African American to be elected to the United States House of Representatives and take his seat. We know John Willis Menard was the first one elected, but didn't get to take his seat. But Joseph Hayne Rainey, Joseph Hayne, Hayne, Joseph Hayne Rainey became the first African American to be elected to the House of Representatives and take his seat. Others were elected earlier, and we talked about that just now, but were not seated. Rainey was born in Georgetown, South Carolina on June 21st, 1832. His parents had been slaves, but his father purchased his family's freedom and taught him to be a barber. The family moved to Charleston, South Carolina in 1846. Rainey, however, traveled frequently outside the South and married in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1859. In 1861, he was drafted to work on the Confederate blockade runner during the Civil War. In 1862, he escaped to Bermuda with his wife and worked as a barber before returning to South Carolina in 1866. Once back in the state, he joined the executive committee of the newly formed South Carolina Republican Party. In 1868, he was elected as a delegate to the state constitutional convention. 2 years later, in 1870, he was elected to a 4-year term in the state Senate, where he would soon become chairman of the Finance Committee. His tenure in the South Carolina State Senate was brief. When South Carolina Congressman Benjamin F. Whittemore resigned, Rainey won the seat in a special election. He served in the 41st Congress and was appointed to the Committee on Freedmen's Affairs and the Committee on Indian Affairs. He ran for re-election in 1872 without opposition. In May 1874, he became the first African-American representative to preside over a House session. In 1876, with the Democrats reemerging as the dominant force in South Carolina at the end of Reconstruction, Rainey barely defeated Democrat John S. Richardson for Congress. Richardson, who never conceded the election, contested Rainey's seat for the next 2 years. In 1878, Richardson won the seat, ending Joseph Rainey's congressional career. Rainey returned to South Carolina in 1879, was appointed an internal revenue agent in the state by President Rutherford B. Hayes. He held the post until 1881, when he returned to Washington, D.C., where he hoped to serve as clerk of the House of Representatives. Unable to obtain the appointment, Rainey instead started a brokerage and banking firm. After this failed, he managed a coal and wood yard before returning to South Carolina impoverished and ill. Joseph Hayne Rainey died in Georgetown on August 2nd, 1887, leaving a widow and 5 children. He was 55 at the time of his death. And that's the story of Joseph Hayne Rainey, who had many firsts as an African American. Hey, Janae. Shout out to Joseph Hayne Rainey. Shout out to John Willis Menard. Shout out to Matthias De Sousa, and shout out to Wentworth Chesworth. Those are Wentworth Cheswell, excuse me. Those are our Black History moments of the day. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, gender-conforming members of our audience, it is that time. I bring to you the late, great Larry Myers to help us usher in our Sugar Spike segment.
Oh, God. You see, this is the part that I like.
Major Sugar Spike.
So love the world. I want to fight. That he gave. His only begotten son.
Major Sugar Spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major Sugar Spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus! I wish somebody help me.
Jesus. Thank you, Larry. Listen. I told y'all this shit is burning down, right? A telltale sign that this shit is burning down, they are unraveling the military. Unraveling the military. Hey, Uncle Jay. Wait, what Angela Roche? Because I ain't seen her in a minute either. Where you been? Now, where you been? What you done had going on? Hey, boo. So let's get this in. If A telltale sign when shit is going awry is when they start unraveling the military. Here we go. Let me read this to you. In an unprecedented purge of the military senior leadership Friday night, this happened while I was out, President Trump fired the top U.S. general just moments before his defense secretary fired the chief of the U.S. Navy and the vice chief of the Air Force. So you fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, you fired the chief of the U.S. Navy, the top ranking person in the Navy, and you fired the vice chief of the Air Force, the second highest member of the Air Force. Trump announced he was dismissing Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Charles Q. Brown, and replacing him with Air Force Lieutenant General John Dan Raisin Kane, an extraordinary move since Kane is retired, according to an Air Force official, and is not a four-star general. Trump, and usually, I don't know, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've had a case of a chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff not being a four-star general, but y'all can check me on that. But I believe all of the previous chairs of the Joint Chiefs of Staff have been four-star generals. Like I said, I am not, don't quote me on that, but I believe that that is the case. Let me keep going. Trump called Brown, quote, a fine gentleman and an outstanding leader, end of quote, while hinting at the firings to come. He said, quote, finally, I have also directed Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to solicit nominations for 5 additional high-level positions, which will be announced soon, end of quote. That's what he wrote on Truth Social. Minutes later, Pete Hegseth released a statement announcing that he had fired Admiral Lisa Franchetti, the chief of the Navy, the removal of the second black man to serve as America's most senior general and the first woman to serve as on the Joint Chiefs of Staff appears to send a strong signal from an administration that has outlawed diversity and inclusion efforts across the military and wider government. Hegseth called Franchetti a, quote, DEI hire, end of quote, in his 2024 book, in which he wrote, quote, if naval operations suffer, at least we can hold our heads high because at least we have another first, the first female member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Hooray, end of quote. He also said on Friday that General James Slife, the vice chief of the Air Force, had been fired and that he was, quote, requesting nominations, end of quote, for the judge advocates general, that's JAG, for the Army, Navy, and Air Force, indicating they would be replaced. So the JAG for the Army, Navy, and Air Force have also been fired. You should know that. Now, the judge advocates general, if you don't know what that is, basically, those are the attorneys for the militaries, and those are the highest ranking attorneys for those respective branches of the military. They have all been fired. All of them. For the Army, Navy, and Air Force. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, we have an unraveling of the military. Why do we have this? Hey, TJ Boo. Hey, Cymera. Why is this happening? I'm glad you asked. Military soldiers are taught that they must follow the Constitution. If their superiors give them orders that are that is in direct violation of the Constitution, they are trained to not do that. What is this administration doing? They are removing the military guardrails. I'm sure that the only reason they haven't fired the JAG of the Marines is because he probably told them that he will bend the knee to whatever their whims are. But what this is designed to do is, what have I been telling y'all over the last couple weeks? There is an impending war that's going to happen somewhere on this globe, and that may even be domestically. A war is going to take place before this administration is out. Okay. What this does is, by removing all of these people and now rehiring people who will now serve at their will and pleasure, even to the point where they are in violation of this constitution, that's probably going to happen now. You're probably going to have a chair. Well, not probably. You now have a chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, this new guy who was elected. I believe, like I said, I believe it's the first time it's someone who has not been a 4-star general who now will bend the knee. We know Pete Hegseth is going to give whatever command Donald John tells him to do, be it legal or illegal, he's going to do it. So we know Pete Hegseth is about that life. Now we have a newly installed chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff who will also do that. And that means that those are actual military deployed personnel on the ground that will go and do the bidding of a demagogue who is out for, all types of, they have a bloodthirst. Pete Hegseth, when he was getting confirmed, basically told y'all he's about this life. He's all about, military. He's all about, he wants there to be a war while he's DefSec. He absolutely wants to be the man to make that call and deploy our troops. He wants to be able to do. I'm telling you, that's what the man wants. Now, I'm telling you, all of the guardrails are being taken away. So you have a SCOTUS that's doing his bidding. Mind you, I expect probably sometime around this spring or this summer, one or both Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito to announce their retirements. Therefore, allowing for Donald John to get his 4th and 5th confirmed members of the SCOTUS. Okay. Now, so what would that mean? You'll have SCOTUS, you'll have the Senate, you'll have the House of Representatives, you'll have the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, and all of the heads of the military. So basically, you have now turned the President of the United States into a God King. Everything is falling in on itself. All of the guardrails are going down. We are on the precipice of what could be an authoritarian dictatorship. And people are sitting down, acting if we are not in a 5-alarm fire. We're going to talk in just a few moments, and in just a few minutes, about how there's the dismantling of news media. Any news media that won't bend the knee and won't show him in a positive light, that won't distribute his propaganda, they're being silenced. This is happening for all of the people who keep saying, oh, I'm gonna just sit out, I'll see y'all in a little bit, oh, I ain't got time right now, I'm gonna let them feel the burn. Baby, we may not have nothing to come back to. That is what I've been screaming for the last few weeks. If this were a normal presidency or a normal group of people, I'd be right there with y'all sitting on the sideline and say, let them hoes burn. I don't give a damn. They voted for this. Let them hoes suffer. But what we're seeing right now is unparalleled, unmatched. We can't even compare this to the first administration, because what we have going on right now is unprecedented. It is scary. And if these announcements that I come on here and have to make every day about what's going on is not scary, then the problem is you. And you're just being willfully blind to what is happening in front of our faces. And we have to wake up, and we have to take, at some point, ladies and gentlemen, the reckoning is coming sooner than later. The citizens of these yet to be United States of America are going to have to decide whether they're going to sit idly by and allow the Democratic Republican that they have known for their lives to continue, or if they will allow it to go down in flames. And right now, we're in a 5-alarm fire, and nobody's trying to put it out. Everybody on the sideline said, "Oh my God, there's a fire. The house is on fire. It's on fire." A damn person picked up a goddamn water hose or anything, a bucket of water, nothing to pour on the damn fire. These are the people who are in charge with putting out fires when the fires come. Hey, Jay Parrish. The other problem with all of this is, Simera, I would not even, if people who are talking about they getting a $5,000 check, though, you can't even argue with those people. I would not even engage with people who all they see is a $5,000 check. Those are not even the people you do not even waste your energy engaging with people who are saying, "Oh, I'm waiting for my $5,000 check." Don't even engage. It's not even worth the energy because there's no convincing those people. And more sugar spiky news. Now, I was live yesterday talking about how MSNBC had canceled Joy Reid's show. I will absolutely be off of here prior to her show coming on, because we all gonna go over there and watch her show and give her ratings. I believe they said tonight might be her last night. I'm not sure, but we all gonna be over there watching Joy Reid tonight at 7 o'clock. We're gonna make sure that we give her viewerships, and then we'll ceremoniously, once she's not on there, we're gonna turn off the television, no longer to watch MSNBC again, because that's what they want anyway. So here we are. Here the fuck we are. Well, fuck bitch in chief, Donald John, yesterday came right on out on Truth Social, calling Joy Reid, quote, mentally obnoxious racist, end of quote. Oh yes, he said Joy Reid is a, quote, mentally obnoxious racist, end of quote. He went on to say, quote, low-life chairman of Comcast, Brian Roberts, the owner of ratings-challenged NBC and MSDNC, has finally gotten the nerve up to fire one of the least talented people in television, end of quote. He then said, quote, based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent, she should have been canned long ago, along with everyone else who works there, end of quote. This is what we have going on. I expect nothing less from the commander in chief of the box of deplorables. He's the commander in chief of the box of deplorables, of the basket of deplorables. Excuse me. I expect nothing. We will watch our Joy Reid tonight at 7 o'clock. Immediately, if tonight is her last show, that'll be the last time we turn on MSNBC, because we have to let these people know that we're not just going to sit idly by and just let shit happen. I ain't even got the time. I got so many stories, y'all. I can't even spend as much time as I want to on all of these stories. Y'all know I be dragging these people, but we got so much. I have like almost 30 stories to get to. So that's why I don't even have the time to spend. Now, we know In more sugar spiky news, we know over the weekend, Elon Musk sent emails to over 2 million, yes, to over 2 million government employees, basically telling them to justify, asking them what they did at work last week so that they could justify whether or not they were doing their jobs, and said if they did not reply to the email and did not answer the question as to what they did at work, that he would accept that as their resignation. Yeah. Said, oh yeah, if you can't justify and tell me what you did last week and tell me how, how that your job makes any sense, and you don't reply to this email, I'll accept that as your resignation. That's what they told all of the government employees. If you are a government employee, I am not asking you to put anything in the chat and make any responses because I want to protect my people. If you are a government employee, just watch from the bushes. Don't put nothing in the chat because I don't want nothing happening to my people. Okay? Nothing. Diamond Pearl Jim says State Department and FBI employees were told not to reply. That is true. So Jesus God, these people. But the email instructed federal workers to respond to the Office of Personnel Management by 11:59 p.m. today with 5 bullet points of accomplishments. Okay, with 5 bullet points of accomplishments. Here's what your president said about it. He said, quote, there was a lot of genius in sending the email, in sending it. We're trying to find out if people are working. And so we're sending a letter to people. Please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such person or they're not working. End of quote. That's what your president said. Isn't this the whole point of people having supervisors and there being a whole chain of command at any workplace? Like there's a whole chain of command of supervisors and managers and directors and various levels of management at all of these agencies. If there was nobody there, you don't think somebody... This is happening. Your president went on to say, quote, I thought it was great because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired. Because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. That's how badly various parts of our government were run, especially by this last group. So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government and are we paying other people who aren't working, end of quote. All of this is a red herring. None of this is happening. These are all lies that these people are putting out there. Let's just be clear. Lies about people not working and dead people being in positions that people get paid that weren't. All of these are lies. All of these are lies coming out. But they're trying to justify the fact that they're going to try to justify the firing and laying off. This is how they're going to try to get beyond just firing the probationary people, because you notice they've been firing probationary people in all of these various agencies because they don't have protection of the union. Now they're going to try to fire people that aren't just probationary. I don't even know what to tell y'all at this point. I ain't even got the time. In more sick, sad news, Dan, Jesus, Bongino has now been appointed deputy director of the FBI. President Trump appointed conservative commentator and former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino as deputy director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Bongino will serve under newly confirmed FBI Director Kash Patel. The appointment places two Trump allies at the top of the FBI. It raises questions about the agency's future. Bongino, 49, is a former U.S. Secret Service agent who has worked in law enforcement and conservative media. Before becoming a commentator, he served on the presidential security detail for then President George W. Bush and Barack Obama. Bongino has hosted TV and radio programs and runs the Don Bongino Show, one of the most popular political podcasts in the country. He has also written best-selling books and unsuccessfully ran for public office in 2012, 2014, and 2016. Before his time in the Secret Service, he was a New York City police officer in the 1990s. He holds a master's degree in psychology from City University of New York and an MBA from Penn State. The FBI deputy director is traditionally a career agent who oversees day-to-day operations across the Bureau's 55 field offices. Unlike past appointees, Bongino has never worked for the FBI. So you have now the person in charge with the day-to-day operations of the FBI, okay? He is now someone who has never worked for the FBI, and there's never been somebody as deputy director of the FBI that hasn't been an FBI agent. And now we have this. DEI much? His appointment follows Kash Patel's confirmation, which we know about. You shouldn't be reminded that Kash Patel has expressed plans to reorganize the FBI, which includes moving up to 1,500 employees from Washington, D.C., and emphasizing traditional law enforcement responsibilities. Bongino has been a vocal critic of the FBI's leadership, especially after the 2022 raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, which resulted in a classified documents case against the former president. Or sitting president, I should say. He has called for mass firings at the agency and accused the FBI's leadership of political bias. A memo obtained by NBC News indicated that the FBI Agents Association favored a deputy director with operational experience from within the agency. He has also criticized the Secret Service, labeling it a, quote, failed agency, end of quote, following two assassination attempts against Trump in 2023. In a 2023 interview, he urged Trump to pledge to establish a commission to reform the Secret Service. What does this mean for the FBI? Well, now that you have Patel and Bongino at the helm of the FBI, this could I see a lot of internal turmoil going on. Nobody at the FBI wants these two people, and now these are the two leaders of the FBI. Recently, the Justice Department removed several senior FBI officials and requested the names of thousands of agents involved in investigations related to the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. We talked about that here. Democrats and watchdog groups have expressed concerns that Trump's appointees could use the FBI to retaliate against political opponents. Stay tuned. It'll be happening. Now, Bongino's appointment does not require Senate confirmation. His role as deputy director will allow him to manage FBI operations, oversee major investigations, and reshape the Bureau's internal policies. This is happening. This is happening. This is happening. Moving on. So, if you are outraged about the Dems and what they've been doing and their feckless, weak stances lately, and are looking for to see what they will do moving forward, well, you might get some you might start to get them to start to do something. Why? Because the money train is about to go away. So according to reports, Democratic donors have become very angry and turned off the flow of money into the Democratic Party because of their weak and feckless responses to what's going on in the government. Let me read this to you. Democrats are anxious to rebuild their party on the heels of President Trump's victory in November, but they have a major problem as they try to refashion their brand. The money isn't there. Democratic donors, from bundlers to small dollar donors, say they are still angry about the election results and uninspired by anything their side has put forward since then. Quote, I'll be blunt here. The Democratic Party is fucking terrible. Plain and simple. In fact, it doesn't get much worse. End of quote. And that's according to one anonymous major Democratic donor. A second anonymous major Democratic donor was equally as pointed, saying, quote, they want us to spend money, and for what? For no message, no organization, no forward thinking. The thing that's clear to a lot of us is that the party never really learned its lesson in 2016. They worked off the same playbook and the same ineffective strategies, and to what end? End of quote. Have we not been saying that? Much of the consternation among the donor community stems from the unprecedented 2024 election cycle, where many felt misled by the party and former President Biden's reelection campaign. Until the Democratic debate in June, donors and fundraisers were led to believe Biden could once again defeat Trump, even as many had serious reservations about it. When Biden badly botched the debate, inflaming fears about his age, donors felt the campaign continued to hoodwink them despite outwardly expressing their concerns to aides. And even when former Vice President Kamala Harris took the reins as the Democratic nominee, donors say they poured gobs of money into what was ultimately a campaign that ran an outdated strategy. Then Harris lost, and morale amongst Democrats has been in the gutter ever since. Quote, this is worse than 2016. Our party is so weak and so diminished. End of quote. And that's from that first anonymous Democratic donor. Listen, I don't need to keep going on and on about this. We see what's happening. I'm glad they're pulling their monies out. Take the money away. Hey, D, take their money away. If you take the money away, you might get these people to rethink, to really get serious about what the fuck they got going on. Unless you start to take these people's monies away and say, we're not funding this, they're going to continue to think that everything's okay and that nothing's wrong and that there's nothing to see here. We weren't that off on this election. Yes, you were way off. I'm here for it. I am here for them saying, nope, we ain't giving a dime more until we see some changes, until we see y'all figuring out that you need to set a new path and a new strategy. We ain't giving you a dime. Beautiful. Glad to hear it. In more news, now this is coming from my great state of Florida. Governor death sentence Ron DeSantis announced a Florida Department of Government Efficiency, or a Florida Doge task force today that will aim to slash government waste in the state. In a press conference in Tampa, Governor DeSantis said the new task force will help streamline the government and, quote, eliminate unnecessary bureaucracy, end of quote, to ensure tax dollars are used efficiently. Put a button in that. DeSantis praised the Elon Musk-led Department of Governmental Efficiency in Washington while claiming that Florida has already been on a similar track. We were Doge before Doge was cool. What? End of quote. That's what he said. Let me just stop right there. I don't need to read no more. Hold on. Governor death sentence. Aren't you in the middle of your second term? I'm just asking. Aren't you in the middle of your second term? I'm asking. Middle of your second term, right? Before you was also Republican Governor Trick Scott, who's the sitting Florida senator from the great state of Florida. So if there's all of this waste and bureaucracy, it came from y'all fuck bitches. Before Trick Scott was then Republican Governor Charlie Crist. Even though he switched parties, the bitch was still Republican as hell back then. Before him was Republican Governor Jeb Bush. There hasn't been a Democratic governor in Florida since Lawton Childs, and that's going back to the 90s. So what the fuck are you talking about? Bureaucracy and inefficiency. If there's anything, you did it. What is the purpose of a Doge when you've been in office and all of these? I just can't. I can't. I cannot with these people. Let me move on. This is the dumbest shit I've heard in my life. In more stupid ass shit. In more Florida news. In more Florida news. Right, DPG, just this revisionist history. Now there's all of this government inefficiency and bureaucracy. You did it. Oh, we're getting there. You segued right into it for me, Ronald. So, governor death sentence is now pushing his wife to be the next governor. Oh, yes, his wife, Casey DeSantis, to be the next governor of the great state of Florida. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Donald John Trump is trying to explain away why Byron Donalds ain't get a cabinet, pick, right? He's explaining away why he didn't give Byron Donalds a cabinet pick, saying, oh, no, he's my pick for Florida governor. That's my choice. I'm endorsing him for Florida governor. That bitch ain't want the governorship. He wanted to pick on your cabinet, sir. Let's be clear. So Donald John is openly endorsing Byron Donalds. Meanwhile, Governor death sentence is said that his wife is the one who he believes will succeed him because we have an election in Florida in 2026 and he wants his wife to run. Questioned by reporters while he was in Tampa talking about Florida Doge, he touted his wife as a staunch conservative who would build on his legacy and argued that the state's first lady could pull in even more voters than he did. Quote, she's somebody that has, I think, the intestinal fortitude and the dedication to conservative principles. Anything we've accomplished, she'd be able to take to the next level. End of quote. DeSantis went on to say, quote, we've achieved victories in Florida. A guy like Byron, he just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had over the left over these last years. End of quote. I'm gonna let them fight over that. I don't have it to do. I don't like none of them hoes. All of them are a part of card carrying members of the basket of deplorables. I don't want none of them hoes. I wish nothing but the worst on on all of them. Nothing but the worst on all of them. I have nothing for these people. Nothing. In more news, a little bit of good news in the Sugar Spike segment. So A federal judge in Maryland has blocked the Trump administration from conducting immigration enforcement actions like raids and arrests at a handful of churches, temples, and other places of worship that sued over the new policy. Unlike some of the nationwide restraining orders judges have issued against the Trump administration policies in recent weeks, the order issued today by U.S. District Judge Theodore Schwang applies only to the facilities used by a handful of Quaker, Baptist, and Sikh denominations and congregations that sued last month. The Trump administration removed the limits to the Biden administration. The Trump administration removed limits the Biden administration had imposed on enforcement as at sensitive sites such as churches, schools, and hospitals. Judge Schwang, an appointee of President Barack Obama, said in a 59-page opinion that the removal of those limits threatened the religious freedom of the groups seeking relief from the court. In his ruling, he said, quote, the substantial burden that the Trump administration policy is far from speculative and is already occurring. It is reasonable to expect that such enforcement actions will occur at plaintiff's place of worship, where DHS specifically stated in its press release announcing the 2025 policy that criminals will no longer be able to hide in American schools and churches to avoid arrest. End of quote. The groups that sued over the policy include Quaker congregations in Philadelphia, Richmond, Virginia, Maryland, and New England, as well as a Sikh temple in Sacramento and a coalition of cooperative Baptist fellowship churches headquartered in Georgia. We're good to hear this. This is at least some good news. Hopefully, this gives other churches the leeway that they need to go ahead and also file some lawsuits so that they can get relief from these horrible practices from ICE. We got to move on, y'all. I got so much news I ain't even got time. I can only spend like 2 minutes on each thing. In New York City news, okay, so New York Democratic Representative Richie Torres has endorsed Andrew Cuomo for mayor of New York City, stating he has, quote, the competence and courage, end of quote, needed during a crisis. Representative Torres criticized Mayor Eric Adams, describing him as a disappointment and an ineffective mayor who has made questionable appointments. Representative Torres expressed concerns about mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani's associations with the Democratic Socialists of America, linking them to political extremism. Representative Torres predicted Cuomo's potential comeback in the 2025 election, emphasizing that New York loves a good comeback story. Y'all voting for Andrew Cuomo if he run? Where's Tracy C? Where's So Jeff? Where's all my New York people? Where TJ? New York, stand up. Y'all voting for Andrew Cuomo? Nah, I just don't see Andrew Cuomo running for mayor. I don't see how you go from being the governor to being the mayor. Tracy says she's voting for him. Ravine says she ain't voting for him. Ravine says she ain't here for it. That's what Ravine said. Tracy said, yep, sure would. Ravine says she voted for Michael Blake if you need her. Baby, I don't know, Xavier. I don't know. TJ says she's not here for it. Tracy, listen, Governor Cuomo. Tracy says she okay with a little grabby here and touchy there, long as you stop. Listen, she ain't. Listen, she's gonna vote for you. She tired of Eric Adams. Listen, I don't live in New York. I can't tell y'all how to vote and what to think. But I think it's interesting to have his name thrown out there by a sitting member of Congress. Now, it's not Cuomo has not stated that he's running. Let's be clear. It is not. He has not announced that he's running. So that's even more interesting that U.S. Congressman Torres would throw Cuomo's name out there. We'll see what happens. I'm sure it'll be a interesting Democratic primary. In more news, back to Florida we go. Back to Florida we go. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer said the state will sue Target for promoting products for LGBTQ plus youth. The Republican, a recent appointee of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, said the company's pro-LGBTQ plus practices led to a stock price drop, which resulted in a loss for Florida's public retirement funds. Quote, while Target told their investors they would keep the company out of controversy to protect the stock price, the retailer engaged in a marketing campaign targeting and sexualizing children, end of quote. And that's what he said in a video posted on social media. He went on to say, quote, you'll remember Target promoted rainbow sports bras for boys and children's swimsuits with transgender features and books for kids that asked them to question their biological reality. None of that is true. This radical campaign predictably caused Target stock price to plummet, wiping out $10 billion in market value in just 10 days. End of quote. Come here, Attorney General Uthmeyer. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come to the whiteboard, sir. Their stock price is dropping is not because of Pride Month stuff. Pride Month was way back last June. They have had quarterly earnings that have gone up the last 2 quarters, meaning quarter 3 and quarter 4. And all of the, pricing from quarter 2 would have been reported in their quarter 3 earnings, which they made profits. They made profits also in their quarter 4 earnings. All of this 10-day mess has recently happened when they got rid of DEI. And us black people said, oh, that's how you feel? We'll show you a little something. Let's also, at Target, I don't feel bad for you. I'm not crying for y'all either, Target. Because the same fucktards that y'all were trying to appease and the same people y'all were around here bending the knee to, y'all were bending the knee to bitches like this guy, trying to make them feel good. And what are they summarily doing? Now they suing y'all. So now you capitulated to these people. You coalesced and acquiesced to their demands that you get rid of all DEI, and they're still suing you. I don't give a damn. Let the shit burn to the ground. Don't come over here looking for us to save you, Target. We have nothing for you. Listen, in the immortal words of Whitney Houston, don't make me close one more door. I don't want to hurt anymore. I have nothing. Nothing. Go over there with Tabitha Brown. Go over there and talk to her. Maybe she can help you. Go talk to Tabitha Brown. She the one over there want to help y'all. We ain't got a fuck thing for y'all. But Tabitha will help you though. Let her go ahead and help you. We ain't got nothing for you. I don't know what to tell you. Let Tabitha Brown help you. Xavier say, these people can't add up or subtract. I mean, Xavier, it's simple math. You would think Xavier, it don't even make sense what he said. And all of the lies he said that they made boys sports bra with rainbow print, there was no such thing. Like it's just, oh my God, these people, oh my dear God. Now you got people willing to believe this mess. Ciao. I ain't even got it to do. Moving forward. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this story. This story is for all my black people that's sitting around saying, oh, we just gonna sit this one out. We ain't got nothing to do. All of that Washington, D.C. stuff, y'all can have it. I voted. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm just gonna mind my own business and not be bothered. I'm gonna let y'all have politics. I'm not gonna even hit you with a story coming out of Washington, D.C., coming out of the Trump administration. What this story should help you understand is there's no such animal as just sitting it out, because if you don't address it, it will come to you. Let me read this story to you. This is coming out of the great state of Ohio. A group of armed citizens has begun patrolling a historically black Ohio community after a neo-Nazi rally in early February that left many residents on edge. With tensions running hot, some see the self-appointed militia as necessary defenders, while others say the patrols are a clear sign of darker days to come. About 2 weeks ago, and we reported on this, about 2 weeks ago, a group of neo-Nazis stepped out of a U-Haul truck near Interstate 75 by Lincoln Heights, shouting racial slurs and displaying swastika emblazoned flags from an overpass. Residents confronted them, turning the encounter into a tense standoff as police and deputies rushed in, according to body camera footage from the Avondale Police Department. In the aftermath, and we reported on that. Remember, the black people said, not the fucking our neighborhood. This is a black neighborhood. These white neo-Nazis came out there with their swastikas, screaming racial slurs at black people and all kind of stuff. Black people in that community stood up and said, no, the fuck you not, and made them leave and dealt with them. Well, you didn't think it was going to be over that fast, right? See, this is why we don't have time to sit back and just say we're going to sit this one out. Well, here's what happens. In the aftermath of the violent confrontation, several riflemen, often masked and dressed in black, started patrolling the suburb located 15 miles north of Cincinnati, which was once the largest predominantly black city in the U.S. and the first all-black self-governing city north of the Mason-Dixon line. 2 weeks later, they remain on guard, but have had to respond to concerns from those uneasy about the armed street patrols, with men carrying long guns ready to strike. In recent days, some Lincoln Heights residents have made dozens of 911 calls about the armed patrol, including reports of several confrontations, according to the Cincinnati Enquirer. According to the newspaper, drivers have reported being stopped and questioned by armed men, while others say they were approached while waiting in fast food drive-through lines. A reporter from the newspaper was also stopped, but was allowed to pass after showing his media credentials. Jim Meister, a Lincoln Heights business owner, said he went to check on a car parked in a vacant fenced off lot next to his business when three men got out and threatened to shoot him, according to news outlets. He was on the phone with a 911 dispatcher at the time, and the call captured part of the exchange, with Meister telling the men he was speaking with police. Quote, "We are the police. What's wrong? We're protecting Lincoln Heights," end of quote. That's what one of the militiamen told Mr. Meister, according to Ohio news stations. The situation reportedly calmed down once police arrived and clarified that Mr. Meister owned the lot. Quote, I think the police are afraid to do something because they don't want to cause any problems. But what they're doing down there is a criminal offense. You can't threaten someone and say, I'm going to shoot you, end quote. That's what Mr. Meister said. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, which also responded to the neo-Nazi rally, stated it was unaware of the situation, but emphasized, quote, we don't want neighborhood militias, end of quote. Regardless of the legal questions, many residents have praised the efforts of ordinary citizens stepping up to safeguard the community. Quote, I thank God for them, end of quote. One local business owner told news outlets, referring to the group known as the Lincoln Heights Protectors. Now, what you have here is this black community saying, we're here for the smoke. We're going to protect our community. The problem is y'all can't be this hard with it, bruh. Y'all got to know, you got to know what you can do. You just can't be rolling up on people in the goddamn drive-thru, talk about who the fuck are you and why are you here. You just can't roll up on people like this. I'm just saying. I understand y'all trying to protect y'all people, and I'll be here for that. But you just can't be rolling on people, rolling up on people. Who you is? Where you going? Why is you here? I'm on the phone with the police. Bitch, we are the police. What the fuck you want? No. You can't be doing that to people. Now, when the white people come and with their swastikas and shit like that, you go ahead. Go in and let have. But if it's just a regular white person, you just can't pull over every white person and just say, who the fuck are you, and explain yourself. Not even the police could do that. At least they're not supposed to. Now, I applaud the citizens standing up for themselves and their community, but let's be smart about it. We don't need nothing that's going to put y'all in harm's way. If y'all are truly protecting the citizens of Lincoln Heights, I want y'all to continue to be able to protect those citizens. So I don't need y'all getting arrested. I don't need y'all in no standoff with the new not with the news, with the damn police, okay? In our last sugar spiky story, listen, y'all, I got to get on a flight to the Virgin Islands this coming Thursday. Y'all, I'm scared as hell. So just this fucking morning, yet again, passengers aboard Delta Flight 876 were forced to evacuate via the emergency slides. Oh, y'all see? Let me blow this up so you can see it. See that? See that? Uh-huh. 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 Passengers aboard Delta Flight 876 were forced to evacuate via emergency slides at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport today, this morning, after haze or smoke was observed inside the aircraft, according to Delta Airlines and the FAA. The Boeing 717, carrying 94 passengers, 2 pilots, and 3 flight attendants, was en route from Atlanta to Columbia, South Carolina, when the crew reported possible smoke in the flight deck. The aircraft returned to Atlanta, landing safely before passengers were assisted off the plane by Atlanta Fire Rescue. There, quote, there is a moderate impact to operations at this time. Nothing is more important than the safety of our customers and people, end of quote. And that's what Delta said in a apology statement that they made. The FAA has launched an investigation into the incident. I I I, I gotta get on a flight on Thursday, y'all, and fly across the water. I gotta go to the Virgin Islands, y'all, this weekend. I don't know, Chimera. I don't know. It ain't even just Delta. It's not Delta. Y'all done had two in the last like week and a half. I'm scared, y'all. I'm real scared. Y'all pray for me as I travel. Y'all pray traveling grace, okay? I hope so. Give me shelter. As we delve out of our sugar spike segment and further deeper into the dossier, let me blow this up. I found this amusing. Well, these AI generated deep fake videos featuring Donald John Trump sucking on Elon Musk's toes mysteriously appeared on every television screen inside the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development headquarters in Washington, D.C. this morning. Staff was in shock. Of course, you see it says, "Long live the real king." That's a play on Trump's own words last week when he referred to himself as a king in a Truth Social post, celebrating his administration's role in blocking congestion prices in New York City. I don't know what y'all want from me, okay? I just report the stories. That's it. I'm here for it, though. This is where we are. I'm just saying. Listen, I saw the video. You can go look it up on Twitter. He is sucking on them toes too. Sucking on them. Anyway, we ain't got this type of time. Moving on. We talked about Joy Reid show being canceled. Well, Lester Holt, host of NBC Nightly News, is now stepping down. NBC's Lester Holt announced today that he is stepping down as anchor of NBC Nightly News after a decade-long stint leading the network's flagship evening newscast. Quote, "After 10 years, 17 if you include my years on the weekend, the time has come for me to step away from my role as anchor of Nightly News. It has truly been the honor of a lifetime to work with each of you every day, keeping journalism as our true north and our viewers at the center of everything we do." End of quote. He plans to continue anchoring NBC Nightly News until around the start of the summer before transitioning to a full-time role on Dateline, another NBC show he currently anchors. In more NBC, MSNBC, brouhaha that they got going on, MSNBC's Ayman Moyadeen is stepping down in his role down to the MSNBC. Now he has the Ayman show over on MSNBC, and he said that he's stepping down from his role there. Others at MSNBC affected by changes that were revealed today include Katie Fang, as well as Jonathan Capehart. Now, MSNBC formally announced a series of sweeping lineup changes that were set to go into effect in late April as the network enters a period of significant uncertainty. The overhaul represents the first major move made by Rebecca Cutler, a cable news veteran who was named president of the left-leaning network earlier this month. Mark Lazarus, the CEO of MSNBC's parent company, SpinCo, the network is being spun off from Comcast and decoupled from NBC News. So they're separating it from NBC News, making it its own network. And now it's a spin. It's going to be a part of Comcast. Among the major changes, Jen Psaki, former press secretary for the Biden White House, will take over the 9 p.m. hour Tuesday through Friday. The hour is currently being hosted by Rachel Maddow. Now, y'all know Alex Wagner was on that 9 o'clock hour. She's been ousted. Boring ass Jen Psaki, who a lot of us can't stand, she's taken over. Rachel Maddow has said she'll do Monday through Fridays during Trump's first 100 days. And then after that, she'll go back to just Mondays. And Alex Wagner will come back. Alex Wagner is getting the boot. And we'll have boring ass Jen Psaki. She's going to have a show called Inside with Jen Psaki. Mess. So now, we have what I guess if you want to call it left of center, or what's left of center major legacy news outlets. Now it appears that they're bending the knee. So here's the list. If you still want to go over there and watch, here's some of the major changes. A new group of hosts will be appointed to host a morning and evening edition of The Weekend. MSNBC hosts. That's because Michael Steele, Simone Sanders Townsend, and Alicia Menendez. A lot of people don't know that's the daughter of Bob Menendez. Yes, that Bob Menendez, Senator Bob Menendez of the great state of New Jersey, who was just thrown in jail. It's a whole nother story. Anyway, that's his daughter. Anyway, but they're gonna a new group of hosts that will host that morning show is going to be announced, as well as an evening edition of The Weekend. MSNBC host and Washington Post associate editor Jonathan Capehart will be one of the co-anchors of that morning edition, which will air on Saturdays and Sundays at 7 a.m. While Ayman Moyadeen will be a co-anchor on the evening edition at 6 p.m. They are, as a part of those canceling cancellations, Ayman Moyadeen's Ayman show has been canceled. That usually airs on the weekend. They are going to expand Ali Velshie's weekend program to 3 hours. I actually like Ali Velshie, but I don't know if he needs 3 hours. In other weekday changes, a dayside Ana Cabrera will expand. I'm sorry, on dayside, excuse me. Ana Cabrera will expand an hour and anchor a weekday show called Ana Cabrera Reports from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Chris Jansing will shift to anchor Chris Jansing Reports from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Now they should have been got rid of what's the name who did 12 o'clock, old ass lady. Well, I can't think of this lady name who do the 12 o'clock hour. She older than God. She should have been gone by 5 or 10 years ago. What's the old lady with the blonde hair who do 12 o'clock? I can't think of this woman's name. Oh, I almost called her name. But she should have been gone. She gone. Mama is gone. Oh, I can't think of that woman's name. Andrea Mitchell. God damn it. There it is. Oh, y'all had already put it in the chat. Oh, I couldn't think of that woman's name. Andrea Mitchell. Y'all know she older than God. Dear God. But she gone, and so Chris Jansing Reports is gonna go from 12 to 2. Katie Tour, who usually goes from 2 to 3, she's gonna add an hour and she's gonna go from 2 to 4. Y'all notice it's getting real white over here, right? Now, Jose Diaz Balart show, gone. Katie Fang show, gone. Gone. Oh, well, this is happening. In sports news, hey, cutie. That is Denver Broncos assistant coach, Michael Wilhoit. Well, let me read this to you. An assistant coach for the Denver Broncos is facing a felony assault charge after being accused of punching a police officer in the face at the Denver International Airport. Outside linebackers coach Michael Wilhoit was arrested on suspicion of second-degree assault on a police officer and booked into the Denver jail on Sunday, according to jail records. A judge set a $5,000 bond today. The Broncos issued a statement saying, quote, "We are aware of a situation involving Michael Wilhoit that occurred Sunday and are in the process of gathering more information." End of quote. According to the police affidavit, Wilhoit pulled up to the airport's drop-off lane Sunday afternoon and left his vehicle unattended. An ununiformed police officer approached Wilhoit when he returned and told him he can't do that. Wilhoit told the officer to shut up and bumped his chest into the officer, who shoved Wilhoit back, according to the affidavit. Wilhoit then punched the officer in the face, knocking him down, and returned to his truck, according to the police affidavit. The officer used a taser on Wilhoit as he entered his vehicle to drive away, and Wilhoit subsequently was arrested. Now, let me ask this. Wilhoit is 38 years old, y'all. I don't know if he married. I don't know what he got going on, but he seemed to have some cleavage. That looked like some A cups right there. I mean, some D cups right there, Mr. Wilhoit. He showing y'all some cleavage today. How the fuck y'all got ununiformed police officers at the goddamn airport? I don't blame him. Bitch, I don't know who the fuck you are. Get the fuck away from my fucking car and leave me the fuck alone. I don't blame him. You had an ununiformed police officer telling him you can't do that. It sounds like a Karen to me. Bitch, get away from me. I don't know you. So he bumped him with that chest he got. Yeah, that probably hurt. If you bumped him with that chest, you probably hurt that man. The man pushed him back. Now, police officer dude, you shouldn't have pushed him back. That's a big man. I can tell that's a big man. You pushed him back, at which point in time, like you ain't got not one piece of uniform. He bushed you in the face. Sir, this sounds like you caused this on yourself. I'm just saying. You know, I just don't like this idea of ununiformed police officers, okay? Tracy, I need you to go over there and find out how much information you can find out on him. See if we can get a shirtless pic and put it in the members only chat. I'm gonna do some investigative report and see what I can find on him, Tracy, so we can get some information down to the members only chat on him. Shout out to the members. Shout out to the members. In more sports news, now this was something that made me smile and laugh. So, on the far right, you have Tim Hardaway Sr., okay? Follow with me. In the middle, you have Tyrese Halliburton. And to the left, you have Eddie Jones, okay? Now, walk with me. Tim Hardaway Sr. has been up in arms with Tyrese Halliburton, who you see in the middle, for disrespecting his son, Tim Hardaway Jr. Okay? And so people been like, bro, why is you in this? If them two grown ass men, your son is a grown ass man, Tyrese Halliburton is a grown ass man. Let them deal with whatever they got to deal with. You ain't even got no business all in this. Bro, sit the fuck down, Tim Hardaway. Now, let's be clear. I know Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway played for the Miami Heat for many years. And so I'm very familiar with him. I know I know a couple skanks that got their back blown out by him, and they tell me all about. He has anger issues. He has real anger issues. He's always had them. But anyway, he a hothead. They say the dick ain't that good either. That's what the skanks told me. The skanks said the dick ain't even that good. Anyway, I just have to report like I've been told. That's what they told me allegedly. Anyway, so here's why Tim Hardaway Sr. is so vested. According to sources, the real reason why Tim Hardaway Sr. wants to beat up, because he said he was going to beat up Tyrese Halliburton. The real reason he wants to beat up Tyrese Halliburton stems back from when Tim Hardaway Sr. played for the Miami Heat back in 2000. Okay. What happened was what's happening is Tyrese Halliburton is cousins with Eddie Jones, who you see on the left. Eddie Jones was a teammate of Tim Hardaway Sr. back during that time in 2000 for the Miami Heat. Eddie Jones and Tim Hardaway were teammates for the Miami Heat. Come to find out, Eddie Jones bust Tim Hardaway Sr.'s wife down, who happens to be Tim Hardaway Jr.'s mama, while Tim Hardaway Sr. and Eddie Jones were teammates. They said that Eddie Jones invited Tim Hardaway's wife to his high-rise condo down to the Brickell, and Tim Hardaway Sr.'s wife came, and Eddie Jones blew her back out, beat her blocks in, plunged her womb. And he later found out and has been upset with Eddie Jones ever since then. So then once Tim Hardaway Sr. finds out that Tyrese Halliburton has an issue with Tim Hardaway Jr., and then he finds out that Tyrese Halliburton is Eddie Jones's cousin, now he ready to fight Tyrese Halliburton. Your problem is not with Tyrese Halliburton. Your problem is with Eddie Jones and the fact that he plunged your wife's womb. You really need to be mad with your wife. What the fuck is she going over his house for? And even if she did go over his house, why is she allowing her back to get blown out by that man? No, that Tim Hardaway Jr. looked like his mama. So yeah, no, Tim Hardaway Jr. is not Eddie Jones' son. At least we hope not, child. He do look like his mama, but I do see features on him that make me go, okay, that could be Tim Hardaway Sr.'s son. Listen, I ain't got nothing to do with it, okay? And I ain't got nothing to do with it. Like, if you look close at Tim Hardaway Jr., you can see his daddy in him. I still think he looked like his mama. Like, he kind of got some of his daddy features, a little bit of daddy in the eyes, but he looked like his mama to me. Child. Well, child Xavier, that's what they said. Now, I got a couple friends, Xavier, that had both Eddie Jones and they had Tim Hardaway, okay? Now, this is the exclusive from the Miami. The ladies that I don't know that I had both of them, they done told me that Eddie Jones had all of the dick, that Tim Hardaway ain't had shit. That's what they told me. We'll say that talk down for the members only chat. Shout out to the members. RiRi is in the news. So people are saying that RiRi is announcing that she has discovered the music that she wants to create. Um Now Harper's Bazaar media outlet say that they were told by Rihanna, quote, "I just cracked the code on what I really want to do for my next body of work. I am actually feeling really good about this. I know I kept saying this over the years. The album won't be a mainstream project. It's not going to be anything that anybody expects. It's not going to be be commercial or radio digestible." End of quote. She added, quote, "After a while, I looked at it and I was like, this much time away from music needs to count for the next thing everyone hears. It has to count. It has to matter. I have to show the fans it was worth the wait. I cannot put up anything mediocre. After waiting 8 years, you might as well just wait some more." End of quote. Now she's saying that the album will be in the reggae genre. I don't know. I don't care. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. I think she's playing in y'all faces. But I wanted to give it to y'all. I ain't want y'all to not say I ain't give y'all what the lady said. I think she's playing in y'all face. Tracy, can you go over there and see what time really be going live? Listen, I don't know Diamond Pearl Jam. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm not a Rihanna fan, okay? I'm not a Rihanna fan. I ain't got shit to do with it. Moving on. Marlon Wayans has announced that White Chicks 2 is going to happen. He said that White Chicks 2 is in development and will move forward after Scary Movie 6 is complete. I don't think we need another Scary Movie, Marlon. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Now, he said that Scary Movie 6 is nearing completion with a 2026 release date. That's next year. Um, but he said White Chicks will move forward after that. I don't think we need another Scary Movie. I'm just being honest. Maybe another White Chicks. Okay, let's see how that goes. But another Scary Movie, we don't need none. Well, then there's that. You're right. This is shit we didn't ask for. Um, this is shit we didn't ask for. Thank you, Tracy. Christopher Maurice is in the news. Now, who done made him mad? This what he posted today on social media. Y'all done made Christopher Maurice mad. Apparently, he had something to say to somebody. He said, "Bitch, I wouldn't fart on you if you needed air." Who he talking about? And why is we farting on people? Some of y'all will let him fart on y'all too. I know some of y'all will let him fart on y'all. Y'all nasty. Y'all real nasty. Some of y'all will let that man fart on y'all. I know y'all. I know y'all. Some of y'all will absolutely let that young man fart on y'all. Mess, I tell you. Mess. A goddamn mess. Anybody letting Christopher Maurice fart on them? I'm just asking. I don't want no parts. I don't know who pissed you off. I don't know what you got going on. I really don't care. Why is you farting on people? Sir, go with God. So some outlets have been saying that Cardi B and Tasha K might be coming to some resolution on their defamation lawsuit saga. According to new court documents reportedly obtained by Sweet Pea Diaries, both parties agreed to reduce the defamation judgment of about $3.8 million to just under $1.2 million following bankruptcy claims. As such, Tasha will no longer have to shell out more than triple this amount, which was already reportedly causing her a lot of financial strain. In addition, the documents outline a payment plan for her over the next 5 years. So the ex-wife of Offset will still get her comeuppance over this, albeit at a reduced degree. This follows previous claims that Tasha K that Cardi B's lawsuit sought to ruin her career, which responded to Cardi's own confession of how Tasha's defamation affected her. At the end of the day, both went back and forth on how hard they pursued the money, how many legal filings they have tried to circumvent the situation, and how much social media leverage they created with their shots at one another. Listen, I don't know. I don't think. Listen, I'm glad they put it down because I don't think Cardi B would have ever saw that 3.8 million. Let's be clear. I don't think she would have ever saw that 3.8 million. Will she see the 1.2 million? Now I don't know. If the judge is putting a payment plan in place, I'm sure there's some stipulations on it. You better pay this lady her money, Tasha K, or you're gonna find yourself in jail. I'm just saying. Hey, Cassandra, what's going on? Now, I think this is much more doable for Tasha K. Now, people were saying, and I don't know if it was true, that she was getting her YouTube check garnished or whatever. I don't know if there's any truth to that. But she filed for bankruptcy and the judge accepted that, all of that with, along with the case, and has reduced the payment. I don't know. Does Christopher Maurice have children? I don't know. I don't remember. Right, lovely 31 blueprint. Go with God, Tasha K. In our last story of the day, because we got to get out of here so we could go watch not Rachel Maddow, so we can go watch Joy Reid. So, for my hip hop heads out there, Wu-Tang Clan has announced their final ever tour as a group. The first dates of this final tour, titled Wu-Tang Forever, the Final Chamber, will begin on June 6th and continue for 26 more shows. Now RZA put a statement out about the tour saying, quote, Wu-Tang Clan has shown the world many chambers throughout our career. This tour is called The Final Chamber. This is a special moment for me and all my Wu brothers to run around the globe together one more time and spread the Wu swag, music, and culture. Most importantly, to touch our fans and those who have supported us throughout the year. On this tour, we're playing songs we've never played before to our audience, and me and our production team have designed a Wu-Tang show unlike anything you've ever seen. And to top it off, we've got the amazing Run the Jewels on our side. End of quote. Tickets go on sale Friday. You can buy them if you like. They have dates in Baltimore, Raleigh, Tampa, Atlanta, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, Tulsa, Phoenix, Ontario, San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento, Seattle, Vancouver, BC, British Columbia, Portland, Oregon, Greenwood Village, Colorado, Chicago, Detroit, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Laval, Quebec, Toronto, Ontario, New York City, Newark, New Jersey, and Philadelphia is the last show. The New York date will be on July 16th. I'm sure that'll be at Madison Square Garden. I'm sure that'll be a huge show. The last show will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Wells Fargo Center. Get the tickets while they're hot. Get them while they're hot. All right, y'all. We about to get out of here. We got to go watch Joy and Reid. Listen, if you enjoyed yourself today, go ahead and put a shondo in the chat. Put a shondo in the chat if you enjoyed yourself today. If you didn't enjoy yourself, I enjoyed myself. For those people looking to donate to the platform, you could do it by using that QR code there. You can do so using that QR code there. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. Listen, I thank y'all for being here with me today. Like I said, all us getting ready to go over, watch Joy Reid, and then after that, we're not watching them on MSNBC. We have to let these people know how we feel. We have to let them know that our voices will not be silenced. Complex 613, don't forget to send me a message on my on IG DM or email or something so that I can add you to the members only chat, Complex 613, or any of my other members. Shout out to the members. All right, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. I did watch it, Tracy. I'm on episode 2. I'm in the middle of episode 2. I watched episode 1. I'm in the middle of episode 2. So we'll talk about when I'm done. We'll talk about it when I'm done, Tracy. I'm in the middle of episode 2. Because I feel like it's more to that story. When they kept saying, oh, no, he couldn't have did it by himself. It's more to that story. All right, y'all. I'm about to get out of here. That's all I got for y'all. Until tomorrow, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. Love y'all.